without microphone? Or
Microphone,
with
so we
it?
can hear you here.
Okay, so you guys have probably started to see my face around a little bit. I'm Kristin Rajter. Last name is spelled a little funky, but it's a lot easier to say. It's just Rajter. I am by day a mortgage loan originator with GVC Mortgage, but at home I am of course a wife, a mother, all the things we do at home. And I just want to tell you a little bit about my story and about the beginning of either a nonprofit or a business that I'm starting. I'm still on the fence on which direction I'm going with things, so this is very, very startup. My organization is called Michiana EMS Matriarch. Michiana being that it is all in this area, you're going to find out this has a lot to do with emergency medical services. And I don't want it to be department or station specific. I want it to be the entire area, and matriarch because this is definitely for the mothers, wives, the families that are at home. Basically my goal with this is to provide strength and support for the women and families at home of our local emergency medical services personnel in Michiana. And basically for EMS, which is emergency medical services, in my mind I consider that to be your firefighters, your police, your ER staff, and ambulance staff. And the EMS community handles so much on the job, but so do the women and families that they come home to. The goal for the Michiana EMS Matriarch group is to provide resources, leadership, empowerment to women and families of Michiana EMS, breaking down barriers and lifting the EMS community up from home. When the EMS community is mentally healthy and secure outside of their job, they're able to function on the job to their highest ability, which positively affects the community as a whole. Just to tell you a little bit about myself when I go over these statistics and hurdles, about 2 years ago, my husband, who is a Mishawaka Firefighter, went through quite a bit of PTSD, depression, everything from things from his personal life, childhood, all the way to the things that he sees on the job, and everything compiled. I felt like I had missed all of the warning signs, took a lot of responsibility, put that on myself. Things at home were not good. It came to a head with, for some people, it's depression, it's substance abuse, it can be abuse, it can be infidelity. There's so many things that happen, and we walked one of those journeys together. And I did not feel like I had any help at home. I didn't have help. Thankfully, my husband, there was lots through his job, through different communities for the EMS workers, but nothing at home. And it took the day that I kicked my husband out when we were in the middle of things going on, and my daughter came up to me at 13 years old and told me, I hate dad. And I was like, we need to do something. So this is kind of how this all started. The statistics are scary. For first responders, it's not a guaranteed number, but the First Responder Initiative reports that for first marriages, 60 to 75% of EMS marriages end in divorce. And that number is closer to 88% when you get into second marriages. Some of the difficulties that we deal with at home could be the schedules. They're gone 24 hours, they're gone 48 hours. You get a really good taste of being a single parent at home. Misunderstanding the moods and behaviors that affect the family dynamic. I know when my husband walks in after he's been gone for 24 hours, I don't know what he's seen, I don't know what mood he's in, I don't know what we're gonna deal with or how to handle that. In the beginning, without the training and the knowledge that I had, it was shut down and move forward. So there was nothing that we could handle to communicate at home and how to handle those dynamics. There's lack of training and resources for the spouse to recognize when help is needed. I could have probably prevented this if I had the tools under my belt to see that there was a problem and move forward with healing and getting him the help he needed sooner. But there's also lack of support and resources for the families who also need help. So I felt very alone and had to walk a lot of this through the dark. And then there's also fear in asking for help. It's hard enough to say there's a problem, but it could also affect your job. It can affect their job. It can affect the dynamics of those that they are working with. So those are the barriers. Just looking ahead as to what I want for this group is to create a trained family peer support so that there is things for the wives and women at home to be able to know how to handle these situations. I would love to be a Rolodex of resources for PTSD, mental health, counseling, and therapy. There are training and classes for families, and they're actually pretty cheap. They're about $10 per person, so it's definitely something that's feasible for families to get that help. I would love to work with empowerment. A lot of these women, they are at home. They do not have their own careers, so if it is a tricky situation, they can't easily get the help they need or leave if that is the best case. I would like to host retreats, whether that be for ladies groups or for couples. One of the hurdles I'm running into is a lot of women not wanting to say they need help or to break down those barriers of I've got it, I can handle this. Their job is harder than what ours are at home. So you feel like you don't have that ability to ask, and by offering something fun, but also having those resources available, a retreat is a really good way to do that. It was actually one of the things that threw me into a pivot of a change is needed, and here's how we're gonna do it. I would like to have events to bring together the first responders and their families. I've had a couple ideas like putt-putt. Instead of like a golf outing, I would love to do a putt-putt outing with families. Events to bridge the gap between the EMS community and the local community. From my perspective, the Women's Auxiliary used to be a thing in the departments that would raise money. So that is how your firefighters at least were paid. Well, now with our city departments, they don't need the auxiliary to be paid. So that type of group and community has dissolved. So I want to bring that back, and I would love to have the pancake breakfast, have the community come, have vendor fairs, other ways for other businesses to be able to do that. And it's a whole group that really would be able to support the community as a whole, as well as a lot of these guys that are there, they have a second job, they own their own companies, and they're actively, there would be ways for them to grow their job outside of their EMS career. Before I go on, I have my 12-month goals. The very first thing I wanted to do was at least try to work on a logo, which I did actually get that done, so that's gonna be, it was on the first page of this slide and it'll be on my last. I would like to grow my membership. The hardest thing that I'm struggling is I can talk to the guys all day long, but the information is not making it home to their families and their wives. So membership growth is something I need to work on. Designing a website, meeting with the admins at different departments within the community to try to get things out through their administration staff. I would like to host a first local women's retreat and a first local couples retreat. Keep it local so the cost is down, start to get the word out, and then a very first family event. And then again, these are a list of my needs: membership growth, reaching the wives and families, grant opportunities and fundraising to pay for those classes and training, paying for retreat costs, so if that is a problem that people aren't not able to attend. Any kind of local support, so locations for meetups, restaurants. One of the things I would like to do is food donations and make a stop at different departments, different stations, get them meals, things, so that that's a way in to try to help and talk to these guys, let them know that this is something available to their families. And then any resources for therapists, local programs, and supporters. And this is just a picture of my family, my husband, my daughter, and then that's my new logo, all of my contact information.
That's great. Thank you. So don't go away. So where do you live? Do you live in Mishawaka or South Bend?
I do live in
Mishawaka. So pretty soon the city of Mishawaka is going to have funding to help entrepreneurs with their business. So you might keep that in mind.
Okay.
So also, are you going to be helping the fire department or the EMS in South Bend?
I would like to reach all, if you are in Michiana, I have a lot of contacts that are as far as Valparaiso. I've got people in Michigan that I've been working with, and then Mishawaka, Elkhart, Concord, South Bend. So anything that is considered Michiana, I would like to be a resource to.
So also, the city of South Bend has the small business suites. So if you look up City of South Bend and then look up small business suites, they have free help for startups. So they can, I think they have 5 areas they help with, like bookkeeping, an attorney to help you set up a LLC or a nonprofit organization. and a couple other things too.
I haven't decided which way I'm going, so that's kind of what I need to, is to sit down
Figure
and
out.
figure out exactly what's gonna be the best route to go.
I'd also recommend you meet with every mentor and business coach that you meet. You know, meet for coffee, tell them kind of what you want to do, and get, you know, their advice of what direction they think you should go. I think that would save you a lot of time. Anybody else? What else do you need? Do you need help with a website? Social media
Websites,
marketing?
That I'm gonna kind of play with. I got some of that contact information from you when we were at our meeting Monday night, so I'm gonna play around with that a little bit, just so I at least have a landing page for something. But as I would grow and develop, then definitely that's on my map.
That'd be great. Awesome.
I think anybody in the room who knows anybody in emergency services, like the Michiana EMS Matriarch, there's a Facebook page for it right now. Like, that'd be great to go and just invite those people to it, just so they can see.
Yeah, they can see what it's like. That's a great
If
idea.
you search the Michiana EMS Matriarch, it will come up. It's very bare minimum. I've been using it just to start meetings. But definitely that will continue to grow, and so if you invite more people, that's how I can get information to them.
All right, great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Brian has a question.
Oh, wait, one more.
I just wanted to comment and say I think this is a great idea, and it's well needed in the area, so.
Thank you. That was my experience, that people shouldn't have to walk alone through things, and it's not intentional that the families are forgotten about, and of course the help is needed for those that are in the trenches of the darkest moments, but there's a lot that goes on at home too, so.
Yeah, and I wanted to say something too. Being the partner to someone who has PTSD is, I mean, you know, but for those of you who don't, it's very scary. It's very lonely. It's very, the worst part about it is that these people end up losing their relationships because of the mental health. And when we try to talk to our friends and family about it, everyone says, leave. You need to leave. You need to leave the situation. And that's not going to help you or the other person in the grand scheme of things if you really do want to be with each other. So I think that what you are doing is absolutely phenomenal, and I just want to applaud you because I know how difficult it could be in that situation. And I applaud you for sticking with your husband through that
Thank
hard
you.
time. Because it's not
I
easy.
actually am working with 3 couples right now, local, that are going through some things. 2 of them are probably splitting. 1 of them is working to stay together. So it is a real need, and that's I'm very beginning, so it's definitely taking off, but it's where my heart is, so.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.